Hey guys, Bob here from Raw Strength and Muscle. And since I think I've finally caught up with all of the questions I've gotten in the comment section, I'm gonna make a video today explaining the various forms of low carb diets, what the differences are, how they work, the pros and cons of each, and then I'm gonna go ahead and give you my approach to low carb dieting at the end, okay? Because I'm sure there are low carb diets out there that you guys have not heard of, or maybe don't understand how they work or what the benefits are, okay? So I wanna make sure we just go through every single one of them. Now, first of all, before I start, let me just say, what is a low carb diet? Low carb is not like a scientific, technical, legal term that can be easily defined. It basically just means it's not a diet with a whole lot of carbohydrates in it. So for me to go ahead and say, low carb, you might think the zone diet, okay? 40% of your calories from carbs, 40% of your calories from protein, 20% of your calories from fat. Technically, it's a low carb diet. You're getting a lot of protein, you're getting in enough fat, and you're not getting in so many carbs, okay? Just enough for energy production, and that's it. But it's not, for the sake of this video, what I'm gonna consider a low carb diet, because it doesn't force you into ketosis, okay? Ketosis being you have so few carbohydrates in your diet that your body has no choice but to break down fat, whether it's fat you eat or fat on your body, break down fat into ketone bodies, which can be burnt for fuel, just the way that sugar, carbs, glucose, glycogen, etc. can be burnt, okay? So that's the definition for this video of a low carb diet. Now, what are the various forms, okay? First of all, there's like medical ketosis, okay, or a medical ketogenic diet. I say medical because they were actually created for people who had health conditions, okay? For instance, the best known case is before insulin was invented, a doctor couldn't prescribe insulin for you to inject. So when you had high blood sugar and you weren't producing enough insulin, all you could do is go on a low carb diet. Keep your carbs as low as possible. That will keep your blood sugar as low as possible, because having elevated blood sugar over time is very unhealthy. You're still gonna die before your time, but that was the only thing that doctors could do for you before they came up with injectable insulin to extend your life as much as possible, okay? There are also other reasons. There are other conditions that are exacerbated by by spiking your insulin or by taking in too much carbs. So there are other medical reasons for it. And basically, when we talk about like a standard ketogenic diet or a medical ketogenic diet, we're talking about like at least 70% of your calories coming from fat. Your carbs are gonna be low as possible anyway. 70% of your calories coming in from fat means a couple things, one of which is you're not gonna be able to take in a whole lot of protein, okay? So it's not necessarily the best diet for somebody who wants to maintain or build muscle because the protein's so low. Because the fat is so high, okay, a lot of people are really blindly believing that if you don't eat carbs, you'll never gain weight. If you don't eat carbs, you'll lose weight. And that's not true, okay? I've gotten fat on low carb ketogenic diets. I've seen people get fat on low carb ketogenic diets. I've had clients who came to me and couldn't figure out why they were still fat or couldn't lose weight or gained weight on a low carb ketogenic diet. And the reason is calories do matter. Okay, every time you take in carbs, it spikes your insulin. Insulin helps you store body fat, okay? So yes, it is true. Low carb diets help you get and stay lean, but the fact is at the end of the day, it has a lot to do with calories, okay? If you take in too many calories, you're gonna get fat, low carb or not, okay? So I don't really recommend a medical ketogenic diet for somebody who wants to, lose weight, maintain a lean physique, etc. Then there's the more of like the athletic type of ketogenic diet, okay? That tends to be more like 50-50 protein and fat calories, carbs as low as possible, okay? What this does is twofold, okay? It allows you to take in more protein, which allows you to build and maintain muscle. That's good. It also lowers your fat, which lowers your total calories, which allows you to burn more body fat. Because if you're eating, drinking, eating, whatever, a whole bunch of fat, it's much easier for your body to break that fat down into ketones than to actually liberate your stored body fat and then break that down into ketones, okay? Given the choice, your body's lazy. Stored body fat is stored for a reason, for future use, and something that comes down your throat because you drink or eat fat, that's like the first choice for it to go ahead and for your body to go ahead and burn for fuel, okay? So like I said, this like kind of athletic, okay, or physique athlete type of ketogenic diet where you're like 50-50, that's usually a better bet, okay? Another version that we have is PSMF. PSMF is protein sparing modified fasting. As the name implies, PSMF basically means that you are on a medically supervised starvation diet. Doctors created this diet for people who are so overweight, it was extremely unhealthy to stay that way. It was literally healthier to starve these people with zero nutrients down to a healthy body weight than to allow them to remain that obese. Okay, the chances of them dying if they didn't lose weight were higher than the chances of them dying if they were on a starvation diet. Needless to say, you don't take in any micronutrients, you don't take in any fiber, any essential fatty acids, the baseline of protein to go ahead and maintain your organs, not just your muscles, but your organs, okay? So that was not a very healthy diet. Doctors worked on it for a while. They gave them, I believe, collagen protein drinks, okay? Not a very effective type of protein, didn't help them at all. They tried giving them fat, they tried giving them carbs. Number one, it didn't help with retaining muscle. Number two, it kept them from losing fat at the rate that they should be. And then eventually they were like, well, let's just give them lean meat, like lean chicken, lean fish, etc. So they have the protein and they don't have a whole lot of calories, fat, or carbs. And that is basically how medical PSMF works. Once again, just like with a medical ketogenic diet, medical PSMF was taken by physique athletes, and now it is used for a couple different reasons. One, very overweight, want to lose a lot of weight fast, it's for you, or already lean and you want to lose that little last bit of fat to get either very lean or to get lean really quick. So it's somebody who's very overweight or somebody who just has that little last bit that is not going to go away. That's what PSMF is for. And these days, PSMF is a lot better, okay, than it was back in the day, because the people who teach you how to do PSMF for physique reasons, they have you taking your essential fatty acids, your fiber, okay, your micronutrients, your electrolytes, okay? So they actually, keep an eye on that. It is much healthier than the original medical PSMF, okay? Doctors don't know everything, once again, okay? And probably the last ketogenic diet that I'm gonna go ahead and talk about is something that I personally don't like, and that is the carnivore diet. Carnivore as in the opposite of vegan. All you eat is animal stuff, okay? Some people are stricter, some people are less strict. So you might go ahead and you might be like, all you eat are animal muscle, organs, only things that come directly from animals. Other people are a little bit like, okay, you could have some butter, whatever in addition to that. One thing that keeps all the carnivores together is no fiber, and that's where I have a massive problem, okay? Honestly, for me, I may have a predisposition where I need more fiber, okay? Because before I went on this journey of trying to figure out my nutrition, when I was just basically eating and drinking rubbish all day, even back then, I had massive issues with constipation, okay? I mean, I've had a rough life, okay? I've been cut by people with knives. 2 people tried to kill me with knives, got cut both times. I got bit by a dog. I got bit by a dude in a bar fight. Working as a bouncer, I've had bottles broken over my head. I mean, I've gone through some serious shit in my life. The worst pain I've ever felt, the only time that I literally projectile vomited because I was in such pain that my body, shut down. I literally just puked for no reason other than the fact that I was in really bad pain, was from constipation, okay? When I started adding in different fiber supplements, okay, I got better and worse results, but the bottom line is the more fiber I took and the better I felt. So I have a massive issue with these people who say, carnivore, don't take in fiber, and what would I do? What would you say if I told you you don't need fiber? I would tell you to go fucking door to door with the Jehovah's Witnesses, with your fucking bullshit religion of fucking carnivore crap, okay? Because I'm gonna believe that somebody can walk on water and turn water into wine before I'm gonna believe you when you tell me you don't need fucking fiber. It's fucking stupid, okay? Most people who go on a carnivore diet, they either shit liquid for a week or they don't shit for a week. And the carnivores are like, oh, you just need to get used to it. You're not defecating because your body's using fucking all the fucking nutrients. Bullshit. You're not defecating because you don't take in fiber, okay? So like I said, that's a massive issue that I have. I'm not a big fan of Lane Norton. He's an intelligent guy. He says a lot of intelligent things. I think he's an asshole on his fucking program. And his YouTube channel, all he does is talk shit to get fucking more views. But he even said something that I have to quote. People who are carnivores say, oh, well, a baby drinking breast milk doesn't take in fiber. And he basically said, like, listen, if you produce the kind of feces as the grown adult that a baby who's not eating solid food does, you need to go to the hospital right now, okay? So like I said, really don't like the carnivore diet. Number one, because of the fiber. Number two, because carnivores are assholes. They turn on each other. You know, the couple of carnivores who really popularized the diet, they turn on them. If you eat fucking one piece of lettuce, you're a big piece of shit. That's the only diet in the world. Fucking, they need to go banging on everybody's fucking social media profile, talking shit. Oh, fucking, you're keto, but you eat a salad, you're a piece of shit. You need to fucking not eat fiber. Vegans, CrossFitters, Jehovah's Witnesses, and carnivores. And I think the carnivores are the worst in terms of I'm right and everybody else is wrong. So they need to take in fiber. And second, they need to fucking leave everybody alone. I don't give a fuck if you ever shit again. Just fucking please stop spamming my fucking goddamn social media about fucking how I'm wrong because I eat a salad once in a while. Okay. Anyway, so those are basically the different types of ketogenic diets. Now let's go a little bit further with ketogenic diets in terms of carbohydrate refeeds. Okay. I said that a low carb diet is where you're going to be in ketosis. You don't have enough carbs, at least most of the time. Okay. And there are a couple different ways that people incorporate carbs. So one thing is a standard ketogenic diet or a cyclic ketogenic diet, okay, which is standard ketogenic diet during the week. 1 or 2 days of the weekend, you do a carb refeed. Drop your fat, keep your protein relatively low, and take in a whole bunch of carbs. Okay, I've discussed carb refeeds in my past video. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna go ahead and link it down in the description, so make sure you click on the video in the description and watch it because it was really pretty cool. Anyway, I don't like carb refeeds, okay, for reasons I discussed in that video. Then there's also a targeted ketogenic diet. Okay, targeted ketogenic diet is something that I have used before, okay, and it's something that I do 100% get behind. And the reason is I can walk with no carbs. I can run with no carbs. I can function in my daily life with no carbs. I can lift weights, do calisthenics, do weighted calisthenics with no carbs. If I do intense, short burst energy, anaerobic energy kind of training, I need carbs. I just don't feel good, okay? I feel like burnout, like at the end of the workout, right at the beginning of the workout, if I try to do burpees, squat tucks, jump rope intervals, sprints, anything that is like 0 to 100, take a short break, 0 to 100, take a short break. I don't do well unless I have carbs, okay? So what I do when I do a targeted ketogenic diet is I will take dextrose powder with my protein shake before and after the workout. And what that basically does is it gives me dextrose. Unlike sucrose, which is table sugar, unlike fructose, which is fruit sugar, dextrose fills up the glycogen, okay, the stored carbohydrates, the glycogen in your muscles as opposed to your liver. Sucrose and fructose tend to go and fill your liver glycogen first. Now, first of all, if I'm gonna be doing intense activity, I want all the glycogen in my muscles. Otherwise, why the hell am I taking in carbs? Number one. Number two, you produce ketones in your liver. So that's the very last place in the world you want to have any sugar, any carbs going to is your liver, okay? So like I said, I'll take in a measured amount of dextrose pre and post workout. Basically, I haven't had any carbs, wake up, drink my dextrose, go to the gym, kill myself with burpees, jump rope intervals, etc. After the workout, drink more dextrose, it replenishes my muscle glycogen, and then that's it, no more carbs for the rest of the day. So cyclic ketogenic diet, you go all week without carbs, you're in ketosis. One day you take in carbs, and then the rest of the week, once again, you're in ketosis, low carbs. Or targeted ketogenic diet, you take in carbs right before your workout, right after your workout. The rest of the day, you have no carbs, so you're just burning fat, you're in ketosis the rest of the day. One thing that a lot of people don't believe or understand is you go in and out of ketosis all the time. You know, it's not like I have to go 5 years with no carbs before I'm in ketosis. It's like you go in and out all the time. And my favorite example is Brandon Carter, back when he used to, have like an internet presence, was on a guy's podcast about keto. This was before Brandon Carter went on keto. This was years ago. He was eating, if it fits your macros, eating carbs, whatever. But he was doing intermittent fasting, and he told the guy who was doing the keto podcast, he's like, he does intermittent fasting because he has mental clarity, a lot of energy in the beginning of the day. And then when he eats, he kind of like loses it. So he basically gets all of his work in. And then in the afternoon, when all of his important work is done, then he goes ahead and starts eating, and he kind of feels sluggish. And what the guy said is he thinks that Brandon Carter, because he went all night with no food, and he went all morning with no food, that he's actually in ketosis, and that's why he has more energy and more mental clarity, etc. And then he gets foggy when he starts eating carbs in the afternoon. I just use this as an example that you're constantly going in and out of ketosis. So like I said, if I have carbs right before and after my workout, and the rest of the day I don't have any carbs, I'm gonna have to be in ketosis or I'm gonna die. Where's the energy coming from? Okay, and so starting to go ahead and get my evaluations of these diets, I actually recommend, if you are somebody who does a really hard workout like that with sprints or with some short burst stuff, like you're hitting the pads for Muay Thai or something, like 30 seconds, all you've got, then go ahead, take a couple seconds break, 30 seconds, all you got, take a short break, 30 seconds, all you got, that kind of thing. I suggest you go ahead and you take in a little bit of dextrose before and after your workout, okay? Just for performance reasons, okay? And like I said, I like that as opposed to a cyclic ketogenic diet, because right before the workout, you get the proper amount of the proper type of carbs. Right after your workout, you get the proper amount of the proper types of carbs. And that's it for the rest of the day. Only what you need, only when you need it. Now, if you do a cyclic ketogenic diet where you're carb-free all week, and then Saturday you gorge yourself, Saturday you have way too many carbs, Sunday you still have way too many carbs, Monday and Tuesday you're kind of like, getting back to normal, Wednesday, Thursday, you're pretty lean again. You got rid of all the water bloat. You got rid of most of the carbs. You're kind of like in a more of like a ketogenic kind of state. And then all of a sudden it's time for the weekend again. So basically you have way the hell too many carbs. And then the rest of the week, you're kind of like tapering down and you have less. So it's not like a performance benefit thing. It's basically for people who just want to eat their asses off. An example would be something called Carb Diet. Women loved it because they would not eat no carbs all week, and then they have a carb party. Like, hey, Wednesday, everybody bring your junk food, hang out with me, we're gonna watch Sex and the City and eat a bunch of carbs, and then the rest of the week they don't. So it's really, cyclic ketogenic diets tend to be basically, for most people, an excuse just to eat crap once a week and the rest of the week to suffer so you can afford to eat the crap on the weekend. Like I said, if you need carbs, only if you do fucking really intense short burst energy type work, and only then you should take in dextrose before and after your workout. Aside from that, I cannot recommend Carb Refeeds, okay? Like I said, link to the video that I talk about my bad experiences with Carb Refeeds and why down below in the description. Go ahead and watch that video if you haven't already. So now what's my take on low carb diets, okay? I think medical ketogenic diets, therapeutic ketogenic diets, like 70 or more % of your calories from fat, it's just too much fat, okay? I think Psmf, just taking in protein and like no carbs or fat, is too little. You cannot stay on that diet long enough to get like serious results. So what I recommend and what I teach, okay, in terms of ketogenic dieting is, number one, get your body fat adapted. If you take in water, fiber, fat, electrolytes, if you take all that stuff in properly, okay, at the beginning of your diet when you drop the carbs, you will not even go through keto flu, okay? Keto flu means basically you did not get your body fat adapted. You will not go through keto flu if you do it right. Now, after you've gone ahead and gotten your body fat adapted, you can determine what you want to do with your body. If you want to lose fat, which most people probably will, okay, keep your electrolytes where they're at, keep your fiber, your micronutrients, your essential fatty acids, whatever, everything, your water intake and your protein, keep that the same, okay? Now, how do you drop your calories? Well, your protein has to stay the same because it's what you need, okay, for your goal body weight. So let's say a 300-pound guy wants to get down to 200 pounds. He eats protein for a 200-pound guy, okay? So you can't increase or decrease your calories by taking in or subtracting protein, okay? Adding more protein is not gonna help you. Taking protein out is gonna hurt you. So protein has to stay the same. Carbs are as low as possible. So the only thing you can change is your fat, number one. Number two, since your body is already fat adapted, you're burning fat primarily or solely for energy, by dropping the amount of fat you take in, okay, you're not going to have any competition between the fat you eat and the fat in your body to be burnt for fuel. Because if you drink or eat fat, your body can break that down very easily and use it for energy. It doesn't have to go ahead and liberate fat stores from your body and use the broken down stored fat for energy. I mean, honestly, that's your insurance policy. Your love handles are there in case you don't eat. You can burn off the love handles later. So it would be stupid for your body to not use the fat you're eating and to use your love handles instead. They're there for a rainy day where you don't have enough food. So by dropping the amount of fat you take in, the fat you eat is no longer going to compete as severely with your body fat to be burnt for fuel, okay? Less fat you eat, more body fat you burn. Number one. Number two, since you're dropping your fat, you're dropping your calories, you're in a caloric deficit, you're obviously gonna be losing fat anyway, okay? I do not recommend you go all the way down to Psmf, like 0 fat, 0 carbs. I recommend you go down to, let's say, 30% of your calories, okay, from fat, 70% from protein, at a much reduced total caloric intake. So you're still getting enough protein for energy, mood, make you feel good, hormonal production, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You're getting in the protein, which is gonna maintain your muscle, build muscle for a lot of people, maintain your organ function, et cetera. And like I said, you got more energy, plus you also have something in your stomach, not just chicken breast, but you also have a little bit of fat in your stomach to go ahead and, keep you from getting starving hungry. So I recommend you go ahead and do that. I teach different ways to stay there because you could stay on my pure protein diet, which is a higher fat diet. You can stay on that longer than Psmf, number one. Number two, I teach in my low carb cutting and bulking course also how to add in fat refeeds, how to do fat cycling, higher fat and calorie days, lower fat and calorie days, diet breaks where you go almost up to maintenance calories, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So you stay on the diet as long as you want. And then when you get pretty lean, when you get to the point where you don't want to lose any more fat, you just slowly increase your fat intake. Slowly increasing your fat intake means you're slowly increasing your caloric intake until you get to the point where you're functioning normally, you're not hungry anymore, you're great in the gym, great mood, everything's going great, but you're not getting fat. Okay, you want to go ahead and build some muscle, fine, eat a little bit more fat. Don't dirty bulk, don't eat carbs, don't do carb refeeds, just eat a little bit more fat. You'll have a little bit more energy to build a little bit more muscle, okay? You'll get stronger and more muscular. So that's what my recommendation is. Fat adaptation, drop or raise your fat intake as you want to lose fat or build muscle or get to caloric maintenance. And that's basically what it is. It's one diet, but there's a variation where you have the pure protein diet, you have a maintenance diet, and then at the other end you have a low carb bulking diet, okay? And since you're always in ketosis, since you're always on low carb, since you're always on high fat, you don't have to go through this keto flu every 3 days, Eat a whole bunch of carbs to bulk up and you get gassy and you have gastrointestinal problems and you get fat and bloated. Then drop your carbs and you're not fat adapted and you're starving to trying to get lean, okay? It just sucks all around. Whereas if you get your body fat adapted and raise or lower your fat intake, you're always gonna feel good, you're always gonna get great results. You're not gonna go through ketosis, keto flu, you're not gonna have any issues with bloating, any issues with retaining water because of a carb refeed. It's just gonna be a very simple method. Fat adaptation, lose fat, go back to maintenance, build muscle, go back to maintenance, and just stay there for the rest of your life. You can always go up and down this little wavelength here, and get what results you want. Excuse me. Anyway, my throat's dry. Let's stop the video here. Appreciate you guys watching. If you have any questions, keep asking the questions. I love making videos to answer them. Hope you appreciated this video because, like I said, I really wanted to get out to explain the different types of diets, the different types of refeeds, etc. And if you really want to learn how to do this, how to get fat adapted, how to determine your goal body weight, how to cut, how to bulk, how to maintain, how to deal with hunger, etc., 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 everything that has to do with a low-carb diet, go ahead and check out Low-Carb Cutting and Bulking at lowcarbcuttingandbulking.com. Has all that information, anything you could possibly need to completely control your physique, your body composition, your fat content, your muscle mass by using low carbs, okay? Like I said, get fat adapted once, change your body anytime you want. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys on the next video.